Ready? Om Shanti, everyone. It's beautiful Murli, where Baba is uh, refining our attainments and treasures that we all the attainments from the confluence age. So the Murli is originally spoken on October 3rd, 1992. So where Baba is, the title of the Murli is Brahmin means one who always have a right to an elevated fortune. Brahmin is the one who has a right to the elevated fortune. Today, Bab Dada, the bestower of fortune, is pleased to see the elevated fortune of his children. No one in the whole cycle, apart from you Brahmin souls, can receive such elevated fortune so easily. Only you Brahmin souls have a right to this fortune. You have received this Brahmin birth according to the fortune of the previous cycle. You have taken birth on the basis of your elevated fortune because Brahmin birth is given by God Himself. You have received this alaukic birth from the eternal Father through the original Brahma. How fortunate would be, how fortune would be, how fortunate would be the birth that you have received through the bestower of fortune. Do you remain happy always keeping this elevated fortune of yours in your awareness? This awareness would always be in a visible form. Let it always be emerged in your mind. It should not be that you think it is merged in your mind anyway, but you yourself should experience and others should also see in your activities and on your face. The visible form of you being an embodiment of awareness, that the line of elevated fortune is clearly visible in your activities and on your face. The list of how many types of fortune you have should always be clearly visible on your forehead. Let the list not just be in your diary, but the line of fortune should be visible sparkling in the center of your forehead. I just want to give a pause here and see what actually Baba is trying to say here. Especially when Baba says, like, when you see your fortune visible on the forehead, visible as a line of fortune. So here Baba is actually bringing our attention as a measuring stick. So the measuring stick here is when you are an embodiment of awareness. So whatever you are aware of is what creates your body language. So Baba is bringing our attention to check your body language. It is not just in your notes that we collect saying that, oh, I have all of this fortune of Gyan, Gun, Shakti, Brahmin Parivar, God's access to God and all of this stuff written in your notebook as a swamans. But it should be in your awareness and it should be as clearly visible on our forehead in our activity, in other words, in our behavior, and also in our expression, which is our body language. So, so Baba goes in detail. The first fortune, the first fortune, you have taken birth through the bestower of fortune. First fortune is you have taken birth through the bestower of fortune. So in other words, our birth is, or in other words, our parent is the bestower of fortune. So secondly, it is not the fortune of any soul, any righteous or Mahatma to have the fortune of having God Himself as a father, teacher, and Sadguru. First, we took birth from Bhagya Vidata. And second thing is, whoever is your fortune is your father, teacher, and Sadguru. Is there anyone else that in the whole cycle, from the one in the relationship of the father, you receive the inheritance, from the teacher, you receive the elevated study and the attainment of a status, from the form of Sadguru, you receive the Maha Mantra and Vardhan, blessing. You receive a right to all the treasures as an inheritance. You have all the treasures, do you not? Do you lack any treasure as your inheritance? You have all the treasures, do you not? Do you lack any treasures? Do the teachers lack anything? We should have a big house. We should have good students. Is this lacking? No. The more that service, the more that service frees from obstacle increases. So in other words, Baba is trying to point that more service you do, the obstacles are also gets cleared. The more the facilities also increases easily and automatically with the growth in the service. So more we start doing the seva, obstacles are also cleared. You are free from the obstacles by increasing the service, and it all facilities whatever is needed to do the services also will be increasing, and there will be automatic growth. It is self-sustained. The growth is self-sustained. So Baba is asking, do you have any concerns? As a teacher, Baba is bringing our attention to the attainment of a Brahmin life, which is we are taken birth by Bhagya and our father, teacher, and Sadguru is also God Himself. So that itself is a big attainment. Okay? So now Baba goes in detail. You are receiving the inheritance and elevated sustenance from the Father. Inheritance and palna. Godly sustenance is such a great thing. On the path of devotion, people sing, God is sustainer. However, you fortunate souls experience being under God's sustenance at every step. God's Srimad is your sustenance. You cannot take even one step without Srimad. That is, without, without God's sustenance. It is only at this time that you receive such sustenance. You will not receive such sustenance even in the golden age. That is sustenance through deity souls, whereas now moving along with the sustenance by God. At present, you can say from your practical experience that the one sustaining you is God Himself. Whether you are in this land or abroad, each one of you can say with that sparkle of intoxication that your sustenance, your sustainer is God. Do you have such intoxication? Or does this sometime becomes merged, the intoxication get merged, or sometimes remain emerged? From birth, you are full of unlimited treasures and you have claimed a right to the imperishable inheritance. Let's take a pause and digest here. Baba, who is a sustainer, God Himself is our sustainer, first thing. And the sustenance that we receive now in the confluence age is much more valuable than the sustenance that we get in the golden age. So Baba is pointing out this thing. Do you have that intoxication that God Himself is your sustenance, sustainer, and deities are nowhere compared to God. So do you have that sparkle and intoxication? And is it once in a while, or is it always emerged? So Baba is asking us to take a pause and check in. Who is with you? Who is taking care of you? No worries, no concerns. And that is nothing compared to what deities can experience. So now Baba goes as a teacher. Together with that, as soon as you took birth, the true Trikaldarshi teacher has taught you the study of three aspects of the time in such an easy way. So now Baba is bringing something specific. As a teacher, he is empowering us with Trikaldarshi. What does it do? As a teacher, he's not just giving Gyan of soul, supreme soul, soul world, but he's also giving Gyan not just of cycle of anybody else. Baba is giving us awareness of who we were, who you were throughout this journey of space and time. In other words, all of your five forms. In other words, he's not just giving information, he's giving you new experience of you were deity, you were worthy of worship, you were sustained by God as a Brahmin, you were the angel that everyone looks up to, you were the soul who is very close to Bab Saman in the soul world. He's giving us all of this awareness as a teacher, Trikaldarshi teacher. So together with that, together with what? As a father sustaining us, he is also a Trikaldarshi teacher who taught us the three aspects of the time in a very easy way. The study is so elevated, and the one who is teaching you is also so elevated. However, look at those who is teaching. He has created hope in those in whom the world has no hope. He has created hope in those in whom the world has no hopes. Not only does he teach them, but the very aim of studying is to attain the highest on high status. The elevated status that you attain through this godly study is so elevated that it is even more elevated than the highest on high status you would get in the whole world, within the entire world cycle. Whatever perishable status there is to attain from the copper age to now, the most elevated status that has been remembered is a royal status. However, what is that royal status compared to your royal status? Is it elevated? The most elevated status of today is to be a president or a prime minister. Through the through the highest study, some would become philosopher, PhD, for example. Some would become chairman, director on the track of management. You climb up the ladder. Or that would become the most senior officer in the government service, IAS, IPS. However, what are all of those levels of statuses compared to the status that you receive? Is this one In this one birth, you receive God's guarantee to attain the most elevated status for birth after birth. Not just one birth, not just for few years, for not just for one term, for birth after birth. Whereas in that worldly study of one birth, you don't have any guarantee of attaining a status for even one birth. You are so fortunate that you receive the most elevated status, and in this study of just one birth, you attain a status for many births. So that is fortune, isn't not? Is it visible on your face? Is it visible in your activity? From their behavior, you can tell their state, sthiti. Is your behavior such that the sthiti of your elevated fortune is visible through that? Or do you still seem to be ordinary? What is it? Greatness would be visible in ordinary. Since even your non living images, even now, give the experience of greatness. Even now, if you were to dress any soul as Lakshmi and Narayan, or Ram and Sita, or any other goddesses, people would experience such greatness in those ordinary beings and bow down to them. They know that those people are not really Narayan or Ram, that they are not real, but nevertheless, they would bow down to them due to their greatness. People salute and worship them. However, you are the souls in living form of the gods and goddesses. There should be such greatness experienced through you souls in the living form. Is this experienced? They should salute your elevated fortune in their minds, not with their hands or their head. They themselves should also dance in happiness from experiencing your fortune in their mind. So, in other words, whatever fortune that we have, it's not only making us happy, but it's also making our devotees happy just thinking about the fortune. The attainment of such an elevated study is elevated fortune. So, in other words, Baba as a teacher, Trikaldarshi teacher, is making us deities compared to all the statuses that people try to attain through this worldly study is nowhere compared. It's not only you who will stay happy and intoxicated, even the devotees just thinking about you can become so intoxicated. So, Baba says the attainment of such an elevated study is elevated fortune. People have an elevated education in order to earn an income for the livelihood of their body, which is also called a source of income. How much source of income do you have through this study? You are prosperous, are you not? What is the calculation of your income? Their calculation would be in terms of hundreds of thousands or millions. But what is your calculation? How much income do you have? Multi millions at every step. So, how many steps do you take in the whole day, and how many multi millions do you accumulate? Does anyone else have such a income? Padma Padam is the word. Baba is rhyming here. At every step, you have so much fortune. So you are taking so many steps in a day. So how fortunate you are. You have such great fortune. So experience the fortune of your study in an emerged way. If you asked anyone, they would say, I am a Brahma Kumar or a Brahma Kumari. I have become that. However, to be a Brahma Kumar and a Brahma Kumari means the line of elevated fortune should be seen sparkling on your forehead. It isn't that you are a Brahma Kumar or a Brahma Kumari anyway, that you will anyway receive the fortune, that you will become something, that you are moving along anyway, that you have become this anyway. Do you say that you have become a BK, or are you flying seeing your fortune? How would who would speak the words, well, I have become that, I am becoming this, I am moving along? Are these the words of someone who is greatly fortunate? Brahma Kumar or a Kumari means one who lives a pleasurable life of love. It shouldn't be that sometimes there is compulsion and sometimes there is a love. What do you say when a problem arises? I didn't want it, but I am under compulsion. To be fortunate means all compulsions have finished. It means to move along with love. I want it, but dot dot dot. This is not the language of fortunate Brahmin souls. Fortunate souls fly while rejoicing the swing of love. They stay in the pleasure of the flying stage. They cannot have any compulsion. Do you understand? Do you keep your elevated fortune merged? Let it emerge. So Baba explicitly calling out. Let's give a pause here and try to check in. Quickly go back, revise what Baba is trying to say here. So Baba is bringing our attention to this present time opportunity as a Brahmin, which is itself a fortune to be a Brahmin at this time. And Baba is elaborating what does it mean to be a Brahmin. So Baba is bringing your attention to you are born to Bhagya Vidata. The minute you are born, you're born to Bhagya Vidata, which means your inheritance itself is Bhagya. And then Baba goes in detail on the relationship. So we have the relationship to God Himself as a Father, Teacher, and Sadguru. So the minute you are born to the Father, all the sustenance that we receive now is nothing compared to the highest on high sustenance anyone can ever get in this physical plane, which is higher than the sustenance a deity will receive in that golden age. And then Baba goes in detail about as a teacher, as a Trikaldarshi teacher, he is making us Trikaldarshi, making us aware of all the three aspects of our time, which is all our five forms. He is activating all of that. So when we start exercising and doing that study, and then the study is to practice these five forms, which restores our highest on high status, and that is the status of being a deity. And then Baba is comparing that to the Laukik status in any sector that you pick, the corporate or government or any sector that you pick. The highest status, even in this worldly terms, is the status of being a deity. And you're so fortunate that your fortune is so elevated that just thinking about you, the devotees themselves feel so happy and they start dancing in their mind. The Baba is bringing our attention to all of our fortune. So when you are that fortunate, also check the language that we use as a Brahmin. So is the language in line with the reality? And again, Baba points out, is this awareness awakened or is it merged? So Baba is bringing your attention and asking us to keep this awareness alive so that we can see that fortune is very visible in our body language, in our behavior, in our activity, and all of this. So let's take a pause here and want to see, let's meditate on this couple of minutes. Try to experience, not just recall the fortune. Try to experience Baba's love as a father. Try to experience Baba, the Bhagya Vidata. Baba, the Almighty Authority, the one who has all the powers. Baba, the ocean of all the virtues. Baba, the Trikaldarshi teacher. Try to experience all your 5 forms. Be in that soul conscious state. In that seed stage form, most powerful. Tap into that eternal potential in your seed stage. And with the power of your awareness, let this pure, powerful presence create this body of light, body of love, body that exudes this pure, peaceful energy, creating this powerful atmosphere. Extending your powerful seed stage, volcanic stage, intense, powerful presence, very stable in this body of light, creating this powerful atmosphere. And your powerful angelic stage creates this heaven on earth. And this heaven on earth, you get to interact with all the divine beings. Experience this elevated state. This elevated, powerful presence heals every soul on earth, removing all the sorrow and suffering on earth. From the depth of everybody's heart, there is this deep love making you worthy of worship. Feel God's company as this awakened self, Brahmin, an awakened soul, who has all the relation as a father, teacher, Sadguru with God. Experience this Trikaldarshi teacher, keeping all your five forms alive, transforming your actions, your behavior, your body language. Transforming our world, making Baba our world and bringing Baba's world into this physical plane. Om Shanti. With your personal experience, try to recognize the fortune. Fortune is not just the clarity of our intellect, but the fortune is the experience that is making us who we are. Om Shanti Shanti. What is the experience of your fortune in this Brahmin life? Of course, Baba is pointing us all of this, but from your personal experience, how do you find yourself so fortunate? Feel free to unmute yourself and share. Somehow I'm not able to hear Girijaben.
Om Shanti.
Yes, better.
When the word fortune comes, I can only think of one person, Kubera. I've heard when I was small and all, I know the stories of Kubera, the and I used to think which bank is he the chairman or for what he is there, that he has so much wealth, so much riches, and the one who reveres him and all. And there are so many rituals, and I've heard of thing if you want to really get the wealth, I'm talking about the real Kubera wealth. I've heard stories. And I've also
Mm.
heard stories how Sudama, he just became just by a little small owl he gave, and then he suddenly became owner of a palace. Or so
Mm.
many such stories, I think more in whether it was the Jataka tales or anywhere. I've read as young, how, and I used to also think, okay, among all the gods, looks like only Vishnu is the one who can give all that, because Shiva, the role of Shiva and the role of Brahma was different. Shiva never, I don't remember reading stories where Shiva gave wealth or something. So when this word bestower of fortune came, I was thinking,
Hmm.
wow, Kuberan, this. Now, how you were asking how to experience, that's the right question. See, if I am the child of Ambani or Adani and all, unless you tell me, baptize me and tell me I am Adani's child and all, how will you know I'm fortunate? By the diamonds I wear, by the glitter I go, or how can you recognize? See, it's only that bodily thing can be recognized there. But
Hmm.
for us here, once when that, like I always say, the taste of the milk, once the cat takes, it's not going to leave. So when we got that recognition of the Father as
Hmm.
he is, and when all other previous God conception went off, so many conceptions you have. As I told you now, I had Kubera, I had this one, I had that one. So many things, even Rama, to see the wealth and all, or Krishna. So all those concept of the kind of Kuberan wealth went, he is nothing. See, the way God comes in an ordinary 60-year-old Brahmin, and he is just coming and he's giving what? They'll say, what did you get? Peanuts. Did you get riches? No. But it is that inner feeling which one can get, which I think only I can experience. I don't think the person on the other side is going to see how fortunate I am. I'm first talking about the first fortune, the inheritance. See, this inheritance, let me remind you, is for the future. Now, Shiv Baba, the businessman, is coming and telling you, hey, you do this, I'll give you 21 births, future. And we are always told, look at the present, future is always uncertain. But he comes and he says future. He's not giving you all that, he's giving you now all sickness, all this, all that, just to become the future princess for 21 births. So again, and then we believe that and we are so happy. That father, that inheritance which he is speaking of. So I want to ask you, what is that thing which really makes us on a future thing? What is the say? There is a saying in Tamil, you've got butter in your hands and you're looking for butter to be taken by churning the milk which you have left in your fridge. Why don't you use the butter in your hands? So see, we are what kind of visual kind of thing is that I'm talking as a father. Study,
Hmm.
I think we should be fortunate because so one, if you have got, of course, I'm not a great seer to have gone through all the Upanishads, even though I was Swami Chinmayananda's disciple, I could go into little touch with these scriptures, the Gita, the Upanishads, the Smritis and the Shrutis and all. I don't think if you see those ways, those seer and all. But here the study is so simple, just three dots. I'm a dot, you are a dot, drama is a dot. And this study, the Baba is also guaranteeing the more you study
Hmm.
is your elevated status. That even if you study well as a barrister, you will become a great barrister. You will become a judge. It all depends how well you study. That we have seen this. But this is something different. What? Elevated status. Again, that is not now. That is the future. But now if I study barrister, I will become a barrister in this birth itself. But this study, which the Strikaldarshi father is giving you, is Abhikelnena. You're not going to become that now. You won't. I can't roam about like a king and queen on the road and all. I'll be thrown out in jail. So that again is the future. So I'm just thinking what you want me to say and give, but still I know I'm happy. But if you ask me, like, sometimes outside people will think we are crazy. We are just talking about jo hone wala hai, like a thing. Sadhguru blessing, of course, that's I'm still trying to churn on it. I don't think we have gone to it. But Bhasha Bhai, like, don't you understand? Sometimes it's very funny, this experience and all. If we just come out of the Brahma Kumaris, Rajyoga and sit alone and watch yourself, you will feel, ye kya hai? How did I get? But still, what will I do? I will go out and I'll go back to the maze because I love the maze. I love because that is what is called as the magic touch, the Maidas touch of Baba. So you have to tell me what is the craziness we have in us, and how do I expect that person there to think, hey, she's a Brahma, not by white sari and all, without white sari, without that. How do I see? I can't expect that soul to come out on my forehead and sparkle. It's not possible. It's not an AI thing for me to do that on my forehead and all. So, how do I experience myself? Ah, yes, this is the thing. And how that person outside should think, she's got an elevated fortune. She's going to get inheritance. She's going to become a prince of Satyug. Oh, what study? I must know what is the study. How, and they will come and put that thing on my head that, oh, dalte hai na for years and all. Okay, so you throw some light. I shouldn't use the word on this madness, spiritual madness, please.
Yeah, I'm thinking. uh, so the similar question came in yesterday's discussion with some of the uh, students in the class. Is so what Baba is asking to become more visible is
Hashabhai,
that,
sorry, but your volume, I don't know whether it's too low, I think. I don't know how it is for the others,
can you hear
but
me?
We can hear you.
okay.
Harsha bhai, it is really feeble. Like we can hear Girjaben.
Yeah, his voice is feeble, no?
Yeah, I don't think he's speaking also anything. Let me just check.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Uh, Yeah, we can, but you sound very feeble. Come on, Ashabhai, bestower of fortune has given you so much. Come on.
Thing is, it is using. I am using different laptop. That's why.
See, I found out.
Let's see. Is there anything that I can do?
No, it's
Audio
okay.
Now
We
it's
will,
setting.
now it's loud and clear.
yeah,
You can hear.
yeah.
Input volume is auto. So noise removal. Okay, so yeah, so what I was we were having the similar discussion with in the classroom. So one thing is how can this what Baba is saying uh, it sounds nice. How can we make it more visible, right? So one thing that came in the discussion is one. So we listen to Murli, we understand what Baba is trying to say. So we have a clarity like, okay, five forms are like this, or point, angel, deity, worship worthy, and Brahmin. Okay, so we have five pictures connected to these five words, five forms, five words, five images. Okay, so now we go a little deeper and then we start elaborating. Oh, point is a state of pure potential, angel is the radiant presence, and the divinity in action is deity, and uplifting awareness is worship worthy. And then we slowly start translating Brahmin as a awakened self. So we translating the words, right? So now that is okay. Intellectually, we are engaging with this practice. So now take away the words and go behind the word. You might have heard this approach before also. So the idea is to, when we say soul, don't just look at the image or look at the translation of that word. Try to exercise the feel of it and try to see what does it feel like. And and then the practice goes to a different level. So that is also one layer. Even after making your practice experiential, so then you take that practice to the next level, which is you're not just experiencing five forms, you're staying put, and experience is naturally radiating. So in other words, five forms, five images, five words, five images, five translated, understandably translating that, and then you are going further down, and then five experiential states. And now, after experiential states, you're not just experiencing them, but you're absorbed in that experience that you're not even aware that you're experiencing. So, when you are absorbed in that state, then all of that, what Baba is telling, automatically happens, which is like your body language. You're not even consciously doing anything with your body language, your behavior is natural, and just you being yourself, whoever is looking at you, they get uplifted, and you have no awareness why, and you have no awareness that this thing is already happening through you, right? So in other words, the practice has to go much deeper. So I mean, this is what was came as a part of yesterday's discussion in our classroom on the very same line. Uh, so shifting the gears from understanding to experiencing to uh, becoming an embodiment of that experience to just being. Being is not practicing. Without any practice, you're already, and you're not even aware. And some people use the word like, oh, now you are surrendered. So, some thoughts. So did I answer your question, Girijapin? Or there is something else you're asking?
Honestly, I don't know what to say. I'm still going through what you said.
So in other words, just simplify the layers of practice, right? So one is intellectually making sense. Then the second thing, dissolve your intellect, experientially making sense, right? You experience, that is why you know. And then you're not even doing the experiential practice. You are being, and experience is the output of it. And when you are absorbed in that presence, then all of that things happens. Like energy comes out, feelings change. You're not even experiencing that. There is one Murli where Dadi Prakash Mani asked Baba, and the question was simple. Baba, you say purity is so soothing, cool, pleasant, all kinds of stuff. But why do I not feel all of this, what you're saying? Dadi Prakash Mani asked Baba directly. And Baba said this. So, those who are already in an AC room and they get so acclimatized to that AC, and then they've been in that AC atmosphere for a long time, they don't even know how coolness feels like. People who just walked into that room feels like, wow, this is so cool, this is so pleasant, and all other stuff. They're seeing all of these things. People who are already in that room for a long period of time, they don't even feel that, oh, this is nice, cool, everything. And that is what Baba is pointing to Dadi, that you are already in that state. So you're not seeing the delta, that the shift that people feel. And that is why you don't feel that, oh, there is something is shifting and all other stuff. So you are very close to your perfect form. He was trying to bring Dadi's attention in that Murli. Follow?
Uh, you know why we had this question? Baba, he speaks about Satyug, he speaks everything, but he's got so many disciplines 1 to 8, 108, 16,108, blah, blah. You know, there are so many first division, second division, subjects. He has brought all this in that Murli. That's why sometimes I think, oh my God, I'm not going to go into that. For me, it's Shiv Baba, the truth, and Paramdam. Paramdam is something, which is edged in my mind. And
Mm,
I feel I'm not, maybe 20% of it I've covered. So I like, because see, even in this Murli, Baba is asking, you are living form of gods and goddesses. Just see the statement which Baba has made in the Murli. And then he is saying, those people should experience such greatness through you. Are they
mm,
experiencing? Are they
mm,
saluting you? Not
mm,
with their hands or their head, but with their minds. They should
mm,
dance.
mm,
Just see, somebody should just come and say, hey, Girija Ben, oh, you are the future queen and all. For me to do that, I think I will call them mad. I was just this last few sentence which it's I don't it is supernova for me that when Baba is asking they themselves should also dance in happiness from experiencing your fortune in their minds.
mm,
Harshabai, can you please tell us, if not even today, we are going to keep you for 2 more days? I
mm.
really, this point is what I need. How will those people think an angel has come? I can't blow out the soul in my forehead and like an AI do that. What should I do? Because this is really needed. I want them
Yeah,
to know I'm God's child. I don't want them to know I'm Girija or blah blah and all. That one
right.
thing to know. Sometimes what I do, this Brahma Baba, like that magic, I take his outer costume and I just put it on my thing and I walk. Let them see me at least as Brahma Baba, if not like an angel. Angel means they'll think something happened and all in a living form. See, I'm talking about living form. So that one
Mm,
sentence really, we need a lot of churning, if you don't mind. That last, you are the souls in living form of the gods. The 3 lines that
mm.
really hit me. That's why, sorry, I took
Yes,
most of
yes.
your time.
Yeah. No, no, this is good. We will deep dive. Uh, but Baba is bringing the clarity on the end result. He is looking at our final state and is not too far in next 4 to 5 years. These things will start happening, right? And then the polarity will increase, right? People who are very blissful will be really standing out, and people who are suffering will really go to the extreme. So you see the huge gap building up, and it's not too far. But coming back to the practice, what to practice, I feel like whatever you're practicing is a good start, because I feel for all the 5 forms, if I can practice the seed stage, and that will enable all the 5 forms. Rest of the forms are byproduct of practicing the seed stage, because the soul is in that so powerful state, the body of light is happening. The eternal nature is creating this body of light, and the angelic stage is happening as a result of your seed stage. And because of you naturally comfortably stabilizing in that angelic state is what enabling our deity stage, divinity in action, right? Because of all of this seed stage and angelic stage and then the divinity in action is what other souls are experiencing, making you worship worthy, right? And because we are able to stay in that seed stage is what making what Baba is saying making sense for us, because only when we experience we acknowledge that yes, this makes sense or this is God. Where is the conviction coming? Where is that recognition of God coming? Because we experienced. And that experience coming because something within our soul seed stage is coming alive, because it is resonating when Baba says. So, in other words, something within us coming alive. So, I feel just focusing on the seed and allowing that to go through whole 9 yards, like all the five forms, in every opportunity that we get. And repetition is what makes it natural and long term, I feel. I want to see anyone have any thoughts, comments.
Shanti,
Shanti.
it is not going to happen in a day, I feel. And I
Yes.
see it also. It is going to be a long journey and it's a slow process.
Mm.
But I have seen, once I experience this, I'm going to see it in the outer world. I
Yeah.
have seen people who keenly listen to us, what we say, and there are people who keenly analyze what we say and later definitely agree. And they are ready to stay in a relationship, in a connection with us.
Mm.
That is when, and sooner or later, it becomes that, yeah, what we are saying makes sense to them. Most of the time, when we are talking, we are really not sure whether the other person is listening or the other
Mm.
person is comprehending what we are saying.
Yeah. Maybe they're listening, but they're not comprehending. Yeah.
Basically, meaning there is no connect. It is only one sided conversation.
Yeah, that's
The
true.
basic essence in a communication is that the other person is listening to you, understanding you, meaning to
Mm.
say he is able to form a relationship, a connection with you.
Makes sense.
In our situation, as Baba is a bestower of powers, if we have to really do that, we have to first come in a connection. And otherwise, people are having enough power to live by themselves. So
Mm.
we have to connect to Him, get that, and experience that by ourselves. And whenever we come in connection with people, we have to
Mm.
show that yes, we have it in ourselves. And sooner or later, discover that yes, the other person is also able to do it.
Mm.
I think then the frequent connections, interactions would make them to come into a connection. And yes, we ourselves first get convinced that yes, this happens really. And,
Mm.
and later we can expect that the other person would sooner or later ask or realize, how do you really do it? And we say this out, yes, and the person experiments it and realizes for himself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Vinod Bhai, thank you very much. You said long journey, and Harsha Bhai said final moment. But there's just one thing I'll tell you. They listen to us, yeah, as you were rightly saying. What they're saying, ye bhi theek hai. This is also good. Why? Because we are in a
Also,
supermarket. We are in a supermarket. They find so many Shiv Babas. They find so many angels. They find so many miracles. See, now also miracles are happening. If you don't know the this Orissa Jagadam, what I'm not able to get that Orissa. The procession was gone. They literally found Lord Jagannath and she peeping out of and waiting for the procession. That miracle has happened. See, when so many miracles and all are happening, they saying, "Ye bhi acha hai." But I am not talking maybe ye hi acha hai. I know, as
mm.
Harshabhai said, it's a final moment. But Baba is speaking this Murli in 1992, 34 years back. So just see his vision, his thing. That is why I told you it's a supernova thing for me to know. And especially after hearing this miracle in that Puri temple and all, I was just saying, Baba, what's happening? When are we going to be those miracles? I agree with you. They listen, but when the Murli comes here, when I take it to the heart, I sometimes think, I hope Rakiben stops the watch.
Yeah, it's in 5:30. Yeah, 6. Yeah. So let's take a quick minute. We'll go back to that seed stage, powerful stage, and observe all of these five forms are as this outer layers of your seed stage. And carry this practice for the rest of the day. Om Shanti Shanti. Thank you very much. I'll see you again tomorrow. Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you to Baba. Thank you, Ashaban. Thank you, Divine Family. See you tomorrow at 5. Until then, have a beautiful day.